We come to you right now. We thank you, Lord, for your awesomeness. We come to you right now, God, we acknowledge your presence on today. God, we come to you right now, God. Ask y'all to speak to us and speak through us right now, God. Give us a word that we need, God, that will help us to live your word, God, in our lives. And find everything that devil stand for and send it back to this of hell. In the name of Jesus, we thank you, Lord, for healing. Thank you, Lord, for deliverance. Thank you, Lord, for moving, God. Thank you, Lord, for answering our prayers, God. And we thank you for everything you've done, everything you're going to do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. 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 Give on to God to the pastor to the lady. Come down here.
All right.
Y'all can go and get to Psalms 83. And actually, I'm just going to read one verse.
All right.
Psalms 83 and the first verse. Now, for those that know me, y'all know I don't mind being transparent. And the reason why I try to be transparent is let people know that a lot of times they feel like they're the only one that go through situations. And just because you see somebody behind the pulpit does not mean that they never experienced anything outside of the pulpit or even within the pulpit. So, once again, Psalms 83 and the first verse. Everybody have it? If you don't mind, I'm going to read from the New King James Version. And it reads like this. First of all, what's the first word that it says? Do. Okay, so I'm going to say keep.
Keep that.
Okay. From the New King James Version, it says, do not keep silent, O Lord, O God. Do not keep silent, O God. Do not hold your peace, and do not, get this, and do not be still, O God. I'm going to read it one more time. Do not keep silent, O God. And do not hold your peace, and do not be still, O God. Ahab was in trouble. He was in trouble because the Lord had said nothing through his prophets. Many times during the Old Testament, if God did not speak to you directly, there would be a prophet or an angel that would come speak. So in this time, the Lord did not use his prophets to say anything. God said nothing and done nothing to stop the huge fight of the Confederacy from advancing. And at the time, Ahab prayed, let there be no rest to you. And these were God's enemies. They were trying to attack God's people. They were threatening God's protected people. And the enemies came against Israel from every corner in every direction and had the people surrounded. They had God's people surrounded in every area. And this was the time that they needed God to do something, to move and to move fast. They were praying, they were crying out, but nothing happened. And so this is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the silence of God. When you're praying, when you're in trouble, and you don't hear God say anything. When it seems like you're doing everything that you're supposed to do, and you're praying and praying, and God says nothing. And you see that there's a problem, but look like there's no change. You're praying, you're crying out, and it seemed like nothing's happening. Many of us are in that same situation right now. We're praying, we're waiting on God, but God ain't moving or saying nothing at all. That is one of the most frustrating times in a believer's life. If we be real, you're frustrated, and when you're praying about a specific thing, and it seems like God is not responding back, and you may feel like God don't even care about it. Now get this. Now this is the thing that's funny. You're praying about everything else and God moving, just like that. It seems like you can pray for somebody else and God move, just like that. It seems like you're seeing other people praying about their situation and God moving. And then you're praying about some other stuff and God just answering prayers left and right. But then you go back to that specific prayer and God doesn't say anything. God bringing no change. Now, I'm going to say this disclaimer. I'm not talking about for those who are living a sinful life. I'm not talking about people like that. I'm not talking about people that are holding on to unforgiveness, because there are some things that will hinder our prayers from being answered. Unforgiveness, when you're praying against God's will, somebody did you wrong and you're praying that God killed them. I'm not talking about them kind of people. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about those who are doing the will of God. I'm talking about those who are serving God, and it seems like that specific prayer ain't being answered. So that's the time not only we get frustrated, sometimes some people lose hope, some people lose their faith or their faith gets shaky, and sometimes they even take matters into their own hands. And we fail. We have the intention, but since God is not doing anything, maybe He wants me to do something, and when we put our dirty hands into it, we jack it all up. And then it's back to square one. Yes. You're like, oh my goodness. So what do you do in those times? Like I said, it's not for those who hold on to hatred or unforgiveness in their heart. Just repent, get it right. I'm talking about for those who are doing the will of God. The first thing we need to do is examine what we're praying about. And let's see if it's God's will. A lot of times we say, well, God, if it's your will, but we don't really even know God's will. Right. We say that because it sounds cute. But do we really know what God's will is in our life? Let's be honest. What is God's will about that specific issue in your life? That's right. Do you actually think that it's God's will for you to be healed? Do you think it's God's will for you to be healed? We say, well, God, if it's your will, I want you to heal. But what is His will pertaining to your sickness? It's in His word. In order for you to know if it's God's will, you need to examine if it's in God's word. And if it is in God's word, then it's His will. Now, is healing God's will for our lives? I'm asking, is that for God's will for our life? Is that God's will for our life to be healed? It is. Yeah. Do you actually think, let's be looking at it like this. Do you think I want sickness on Dylan? No. Why? Right. I love him. But if I have the ability to heal him, I would heal him. But if I have given him the ability to be healed, I will tell him what he needs to do to be healed. Amen. Amen. Oh yeah. So if we are God's children, and He has the ability to heal us, Do you think he's trying to tell us how to be healed? He's talking to us, but a lot of times we're not listening.
That's true.
I know this is kind of off script, so to speak, but I want to say it like this. Everything pertaining to God's will for our life, not only is it in God's word, but it's in through the obedience we give to him. I mentioned about healing. Healing, did that come from God or Satan? Seriously, sickness, did that come from God or Satan? Satan, okay. Comes from Satan. So Satan, which is the author of confusion, he comes to steal, kill, and to destroy. And so anything pertaining to him, which first of all is a spirit. So if there is anything pertaining to the devil, it's going to come in a spirit form. If there's anything from God, it's coming from a spirit form too. Because God is spirit.
Right.
So when things come, we need to examine the spirit that's coming to us. And if there's anything unlike God, that means it comes from
The devil. Satan.
Satan. And if it comes from Satan, then that means everything pertaining to what Satan has, if we're not careful, everything pertaining to Satan can come to us.
That's true.
That means sickness. That means lack of peace, drama, conflict. But Satan will not come all of a sudden in a little pretty package that you don't like.
That's true.
He gonna come in a way of something that may try to lure you, then something that you may like.
Weakness, yeah.
Just like I found out, if you want to get a kid to always go to the dentist, give him a lot of chocolate. Give him a lot of sweets. Sweets taste good, but it's damaging on your teeth. So what happened? I found out sugar actually is an addiction. So you have to train yourself the consequence of always eating sweets. And what do? A lot of times when we eat sweets, a lot of times we fail to brush our teeth. They say brush your teeth after every meal.
That's right.
So if you keep on holding on to them sweets, and even after you finish eating, the sugar is now mixing in with your saliva. And now you're refusing to brush your teeth. That means washing your teeth. And what happened as you sitting down watching TV, those cavities will start developing. That's on the natural. What do you think going on in the spirit? Whenever we entertain things that are unlike God, because the devil trying to get a crack into your life to damage your life. So if I want to disrupt Brother Sam's purpose, all I need to do is bring some type of conflict, drama that's going to catch his attention. I just had to throw that in there so that way we can understand how the devil will try to work and deal with us. But when it comes down to what we're praying about, examine what we're praying about. Examine. Do you actually know what you're praying about? Finding out if it's God's will. Like I said, I found this out. I got this from my dad. Write stuff down.
Yeah.
A lot of things, what we do, when we don't write things down, what happens, we try to memorize. We bombard our brains with stuff that's already confusing. And wherever the devil tries to deal with you, right here in your mind. So when problems come, you're not focused on your answer, you focus on your problem.
Right.
That's the reason why, if you notice, some of the most creative people, they write in the morning. Sometimes God can be speaking to you in your sleep. And you feel like, well, I can remember it. And then you go on throughout the day and you can't even remember what you heard that night. And it's frustrating. You're like, Lord, what did I say? What did I say? God, what did you tell me? You should have wrote it down. So from this point on, what we gotta do, we gotta what? Write stuff down.
Record it.
Write stuff down. Recording is good. Write stuff down. I know a lot of times you can be driving. Sometimes you can be in the middle of doing something. You may not have a pen available. Get your phone.
There you go.
Everybody that got a smartphone, you can get a recorder. Speak or record yourself speaking. You'd be surprised how the devil will speak to you in those times. So you have to start writing stuff down. Quit refusing to write stuff down. There's a scripture that says, write the vision and make it plain. God will always speak to you sometimes in the most inconvenient spots.
Amen.
He's doing it to see, can he trust you? So, finding out what you're praying about, if it's God's will or not. So let's just say by default, what we're praying about is God's will, right?
Right.
We're praying about something that's pertaining to God's will. Okay, yes. But what you do, you also, that includes your purpose and everything about your life. What is God's will for your life? And know that God wants you to know what his will is for your life. God does not want you to be naive to who you are. Now, when I say God's will, a purpose, a lot of times people think about, well, you know, just a bit. First of all, that means every part of you, your spiritual life, your natural life, your financial life, everything pertaining to your life. Understand?
Yeah.
Okay. So everything pertaining to your life. If it's God's will, yes, it is God's will for you to know. But also, during that time of silence, when you think that God being silent, when you think God ain't saying nothing, just because God may be silent does not mean that he's punishing you.
Yeah.
So many people think, well, I'm not hearing from God, so they end up feeling like God is punishing them or God don't love them. All these things. These are what I call insecure Christians. Let's be real. That does not mean that you ain't a Christian, but that means you really don't know who you are.
That's right.
And when you don't know who you are, you'll accept anything that the devil gives you. Thinking that's what God wants you to have. Thinking, well, I guess that's how I'm made. And one of the things I said this earlier this week. Just because it happened to great grandmama, just because things happen to grandmama, just because it happened to your mama, does not mean it should happen to you.
That's right. That's right.
Amen.
That's true.
Somebody got to stand up and start breaking some generational curses.
Amen.
Somebody got to stop allowing foolishness within the family. Somebody got to stop allowing the devil to run rampant in y'all family.
That's right.
And so when we start looking at, well, even though it had, let's be real. Somebody in the family may have had a baby out of wedlock. And then somebody else had it. But that does not mean you follow that same pattern. Listen, and even if you choose not to allow that same pattern to happen, don't let anybody make you feel bad if you choose to live a better life today. Because life is about choices. And along with those choices, there are also consequences. I know many family members that have seen somebody go off to college, and when that person have married somebody, living a productive life, there are some that chose to not live that kind of life. They end up, well, that person think they too good, oh, they trying to talk right and all this. Look here, you have the same chance as I do. But instead of you chasing the books, you start chasing some dudes. Or, for the guy, I ended up going to school. I ended up saving up my money. But you want to go ahead and drink your 40, go out to the club with the homeboys, and now you got 6 different baby mamas, and you want child support more than your mortgage. That ain't my fault. You went off to college, played football, but this guy right here, he had the same opportunity, but because he ended up making the wrong choice, he ended up playing in the NFL. Now when you see him, hey, how you doing? Not doing it. Different. Don't get mad. Listen, don't get offended when people cut you off in their life, when people treat you different.
Did you a favor.
We'll talk about that later. But we have to remember, just because God, you may not be hearing God at the time, you may not be seeing the move of God, that does not mean that you're in trouble.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
But also, you think about this. A lot of times when we don't hear from God, that's a good thing.
That is.
I found this out. I remember, this is, of course, me and Sheila grew up at the same time. But when we were first left in the house by ourselves, Mama would call every 15 minutes. What y'all doing? Well, on the phone. What y'all, look, when we first started staying at the house by ourselves, the phone calls would keep on calling constantly. But when time came, when there was more trust, the phone calls were less. Let's be honest, those are the parents. There are some children that you leave at the house, you don't have to call because you gave them the instructions that you know what they're going to do.
Right.
That's right.
So you ain't got to worry about it. But then there are others. We ain't going to call no names, Pastor Logan. But there are others you have to call to remind them to make sure what you told them that they do it. And you sometimes have to tell them what time you're going to get to the house so they can make sure that it's done before you get there.
That's true.
But that child that you don't have to tell them what time, you just tell them what needs to be done, and when you just don't happen to call them, just to see how they're doing, you find out that they've already done everything you asked them to do.
Right.
So you ain't got to worry about calling. You can focus on something else. So if you do that as a parent about your child because you don't have to call them, because you ain't got to worry about it because you trust them, what do you think about God towards you? There are some areas in your life God trusts you. You may not hear from God at that time, but He knows that you're good in that area. You do it. But one of the things I found out, many people, we talk about, oh God, I trust you. We trust God, but God don't trust us.
Yeah, I know.
There are some areas and there are some people, we can say, God, I love you. If we mean well, like I said, just like that parent is trusted by the kids.
Right.
But every child that trusts the parent can't trust every one of them children.
That's right.
So ask yourself, in the situations that I'm in, is God silent because He trusts me with this? Think about it. There's nothing, we always say there's nothing new under the sun. Don't you know everything that you're dealing with? Now, I'm not talking about something that you're dealing with because of your own choice.
Right.
But I'm talking about for those things you had no control of. Don't you know God already knew what's going to happen? I'm going to say it like this. Don't you know God already equipped you for that? He already equipped you for that. So, like I said, when that parent got a call every 10, every 15 minutes because they got to check, make sure that that child is doing what they're supposed to, versus that child, man, I get that phone call from that parent. Why? Because that parent trusts that child. So when God puts you in a situation, it may seem like you are out of your comfort zone. He is not silent because he's punishing you. He's silent because he trusts you. And just because you're out of your comfort zone, or just because you're out of your comfort, does not mean that you're out of the presence of the Comforter.
Amen.
Just because things may be a little rocky or shaky, that does not mean that God has left or abandoned you. So understand, with those times of discomfort, I found out sometimes when we seeking answers from God, the answers of God are not always verbal.
That's true.
Sometimes God may not be verbal, sometimes he may be visual. But sometimes God will not just tell you what to do, but what you have to do, he wants you to understand not just what he's saying, but understand the move of God, or the flow, or the atmosphere of God. Knowing God's movement. I was watching Deion Sanders. He had a special a couple of years ago, and I was watching it this week. And what he was saying, one of the gifted athletes, but what he was saying, the reason why he was able to catch a lot of the interception was because he knew the movements of who he was covering. He had already studied that person. So he, regardless of what play the quarterback was making, he already knew and studied his opponent. So when the ball was going to come to him, he already knew how many steps he was going to take, if he was going to move to the left, to the right, and then when the ball was released, he would go and catch the ball that was intended for the other guy.
Football sense.
He understood the move of his opponent. Well, God's not your opponent, he's your teammate. But he wants you to understand his footwork, understand his fingerprints. So that way, even if you don't see him move, even though you may not hear him move, you know that he is moving.
Amen.
Another thing we got to think about, sometimes God will not tell you what he wants you to do. Sometimes he will tell you what he will not want you to do. That's a situation I'm going to share with y'all later on, but that was a situation that sometimes you may feel like God playing games with you. You feel like, okay, God, do you want me to go to the left? No. Where do you want me to go? What do you want me to do? He ain't saying nothing. But well, what about you? You want me to go over here? No. What do you want me to do?
Just don't go that way.
And he says nothing. Listen, what I found out, when you don't know what to do, when you don't see the movement, what I found out what you need to do is stay busy doing the last thing God told you to do. Do the last assignment that he told you to do.
That's real.
And when you don't hear what God is saying, remember what he already said. I found out when you end up doing the last thing, it's actually grooming you for where you're going to be going. Have you ever, I'm not going to be messing with my mom, but there are some parents, I'm not going to say who, but there are some parents, you will ask them, you already got the instructions. When you get in the car, don't ask, we're going to the store, don't ask for nothing,
Don't touch
don't
that.
put your hand on nothing, and if you ask them, I'm embarrassed.
That's right, that's what I mean.
So, your mama too?
Same way.
Okay. So we get into the store, and we just walking around, we're not saying anything, and all of a sudden,
I'm gonna be mama.
next thing you know, I'm not gonna say which child, but one of mama's children, the daughter, Mama, can I have? Mama didn't respond verbally. All she needed to do was just look.
Look. Yep. You look like your mom.
He sounded like my mom.
Yeah.
We gonna act like she didn't hear that. But the orders were already given. But when the question was asked, did she verbalize?
She had to.
Did she say no? No. She gave the look. In other words, that look was, remember, I already told you what you shouldn't be asking for, or what you're not going to do. And so when it comes down to part of the silence that we're hearing, sometimes God may be looking at us, remember what I already told you. Reflect what I already told you. So let that resonate within you. We're in a different place, but I already told you all what to do. But also one thing I think about, I love music. One of the greatest musicians or orchestra leaders was James Brown. James Brown was known to have the tightest band because they improvised. And sometimes what happened, even him having skillful musicians, you have to listen to what he's saying because he may tell you, stay, get on one. Or he'll tell you, ride. He'll tell the drummer, ride. Or he'll do something. And a lot of times what happens, even when they get to the prelude, he may just say, stay in the pocket. Stay in the pocket. Stay in the pocket. He would tell them there because why? Because he's looking at the movement of the audience. And they're responding in a way. So he's telling the band members to stay right there. Don't move, don't change. Stay right there. Stay right there and wait for the instructions on when to move. And that's what God is trying to tell us in some of the areas of our life. Stay in the pocket. Stay in the pocket. This is benefiting the both of us. Stay in the pocket. Along with that, what we got to look at, always have the atmosphere where you hear from God at any time. In other words, you don't have time for foolishness. You don't have time for drama. You don't have time for other people's mess. You are on an assignment. Even you pursuing your healing, that's an assignment. Even you pursuing your peace of mind, that's an assignment. You have to have the atmosphere conducive enough for you to hear from God. And anything anybody may come to you with anything outside of God, that's a distraction. So you have to have the atmosphere where you can hear from God. And also always tell people, have a designated area where you can commune with God. Some people have the prayer closet. Car. This is what I do. Whenever I get ready to get off work, I get in the car. I try not to call them out on the phone when I'm leaving work. And I hurry up and get in the car because the first person I want to talk to is God. And I thank God in even me talking to God, thank God for a great day and everything. But also this is something, if y'all want to do this, when I put gas in the car, I bless my car. I bless the gas, but I also bless and anoint the car. Because a lot of times we spend more time in the car than we do in our bed. So wherever you spend more time at, make sure that you have surrendered that to God, because a lot of times God may want to commune with you right there, right where you at. So have a spot where you can have just like how they play tag, let your car, let your prayer closet, let your bathroom, let that be a place where you can just go to God and just have that one-on-one time. Because what you asking God for, you never know when he's going to answer. But also, a lot of times, right before he gives us an answer, the devil going to try to bring a distraction. So we have to be spiritually aware of when the devil is trying to come. Before victory comes, the devil already tries to discourage with defeat. Anytime you get ready to get a powerful move of God, the devil will always try to do something to bring some type of foolishness. And why does he do that? Because he knows if we respond to that, we're going to step outside of our character.
Right.
And once we step outside of our character, now we have stepped outside of God's will. So what you ask for is God's will. But the devil wants you to step outside of God's will so you won't get the will done in your life.
Yep.
So, next thing, be willing to expect God to reveal things and people. When you're praying, when you're seeking the will of God, when you're praying, when you're seeking the will of God, this is the time when a person's true character will be revealed. Revealed or exposed. God will show you the spiritual benefits where he's taking you, him being with you, and all these blessings, spiritual blessings that he's going to give you. He will guide you in a lot of great other spiritual benefits and promises. But I found out God may tell you the spiritual benefits of what he's going to do for you, what he's going to be doing, where you're going to be going. But I found out a lot of times he won't tell you the natural things that will happen. The people that's going to be lying on you, the people that's going to leave you, the people that's going to reject you. All these things, a lot of things that pertain to us, he may not disclose because it may discourage us from obeying God. The people that you had everything planned out to be with, he may not tell you that that same person that you trusted gonna break you, gonna lead you, gonna lie on you. But are you willing to allow that for you to receive the will of God? Will you be willing to hold on to the friendship versus hold on to the fellowship of God?
You have to. Yep.
Are you willing to allow that person to leave? Or are you going to hold on to them just for you to have somebody, even if it causes you to settle for less than what God has for you? Something to think about. We have to understand God will show us during that time of us praying and seeking God. God will show us things. God will reveal things. But we have to accept what God reveals. If we don't accept it, that's going to be a struggle that's going to hinder us from fulfilling the purpose and plan that God has for us. But in the midst of all these things, what did God want us to do? He wanted to be a worshiper under any and every circumstances. He wanted to be an obedient. When we come down to worship obedience. Worship God under any and every circumstances. Now, does that mean that everything will feel good? No. But in spite of, we're not going by our feelings. In spite of what goes on, we can't respond within the flesh. This is a spiritual warfare, and this is a spiritual purpose that God is leading us that will benefit us, even physically. But we have to understand in the midst of whatever situation, we should not let anything or anybody separate us from the love of God. Some of the scripture I want to give you. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. It says, trust in the Lord with some of your heart. No, all your heart, and lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. In order for you to trust somebody, you have to have a personal relationship or to get to know that person personally. You have to know that person in that person's ways, that person's heart. Pastor Logan and Sister Logan have been married for many years. And there are times that Pastor Logan may not be around or Sister Logan may not be around. But if there is something that needs to be done, Pastor Logan knows Sister Logan well enough to give her something that she may like. Or it may be, hey, we're not going to do that because I know she wouldn't like that. She would not want that. We have to trust God in that same manner. Hebrews 11:1. It says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. What we're praying about is going to take faith.
Yeah.
Now, faith is not something that you just, now I'm saved, I don't have to exercise faith. Faith is a muscle that has to grow. Faith, everybody has received some measure of faith.
That's right.
And to be honest with you, everybody got faith in something.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't even have to be saved. There is faith in something that you have. But when we talk about, we have to have faith in God. And we have to allow that faith muscle to grow. Faith is the substance. Faith is what? Substance of things hoped for. Hope, a lot of times we just think about hope pertaining to doubt. But hope is confidence.
Right.
The difference between hope and faith is hope is confidence, but faith is confidence with work pertaining to what you have hope in. That's one word. But the other word I have to bring in, now faith is something thing hopeful and the evidence of things not seen. That seen. Faith is a spiritual sight. Seen is a physical sight. We have to stop looking at what we see. When you're seeking the will of God, you don't go by what you physically see. The opposite of faith, what is the opposite of faith? The opposite of faith is not fear.
Right.
It's not doubt. The opposite of faith is sight. What you physically see will disrupt what you spiritually supposed to see. The opposite of faith is sight. See, your faith is your spiritual eyes, your spiritual senses. But your sight is your natural senses, or what you see with your physical body, or with your flesh, or non-spiritual, or this other word, with your emotion. You think about driving. Think about driving to a place you've never been before. Even though you've never been there before, you're going to a specific destination. Even though you're driving, while you're driving, the scenery changes. I know actually last year for the first time, I actually drove to Mississippi. I drove to Mississippi. All I knew was where we're supposed to land at. I'm driving. Never been there before. But even though while I was driving, it seemed like it took forever. But even though I was driving, we were passing by many landmarks, passing by trees, passing by ducks and deers and all that, horses. Even though we were passing through, like I said, the scenery was changing. But the Mississippi, the location of Mississippi changed. It stayed right there.
Right. Right.
In this journey, there are many things that we're going to be passed by in the scenery.
That's right.
But a lot of times we allow the scenery to distract us.
That's right.
To discourage us.
That's right. We ain't always right.
A lot of times we allow what we see to discourage us. And get this, as you're driving, the scenery changes. Sometimes even the route may change.
That's true.
Detours, yeah.
But just because the scenery or the route didn't change, but the destination never changed. Nor the instructions on how to get there. The scenery may scare you because you're traveling in an area that you've never been before. That's why you have to trust who gave you the instructions. You trust, sometimes we trust the navigational system. We have to, listen, we have to stay focused on the destination regardless of the scenery. And a lot of times, even in the midst of driving, like I said, that was the first time, I'll do it again. I'll go down to Mississippi again later. But even in driving, if God told you you're going to make it over there, but you got to keep driving. Listen, even if me and God, if God told me to drive and he on the passenger seat and he sleep. Have y'all done that before? Have y'all have to drive and you have somebody beside you and they're supposed to give you the directions and they get knocked out? All they do is tell you, hey, look here, just stay on 20 and you go on 20, just stay on there and I'll get up in a few minutes. You're like, wait a minute, now as you're driving, like I said, the scenery changes. Now what happened? Now you just get fearful. Because you're like, wait a minute, now this person just knocked out. I don't know where I'm going. So what happened? You get nervous. You start waiting, hey. I don't know where I'm at. And they say, well, are you still in Texas? Yeah. Well, you're all right then, just keep on going. And they go back to sleep. God is telling you, keep on going. Pay no mind to the scenery changing. You're on the right road. Just keep driving. Keep going. Isaiah 55:8-9. This will help us to understand that even in the midst of where we're going and what we're doing, God knows better than we do. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor your ways my ways, says the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. I don't care how much we try to study, God knows way beyond what we know.
Yes, he does.
But we have to what? We have to trust. We have to trust his integrity. He never failed, but as long as we try to take that into our own hands, we will surely fail. Last, few more verses. Psalms 37:23-24. It says, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delights in his ways. But I'm also reading 24-25. Though he fall, he should not be utterly cast down, for the Lord uphold him with his hand. I have been young and now I'm old, yet I have not seen the righteous forsaken or his descendants begging bread. God is reliable.
Amen.
And we can trust him because he has a one-loss record that compares to nobody.
Amen.
But what you have to understand, if you're doing the will of God, if you're seeking God, he's ordering your steps. And for many years, I used to hear when he said, if you acknowledge him in all the ways, he shall direct our path. I used to always say he should direct our path. But I realized I was missing a key element. There was an S after paths. He said he would direct our paths. We always said he will make our pathway straight. But I felt that not just in the beginning of a situation, but even in the midst of what you've messed up. If you repent, if you come to your senses, realize, you know what, God, I jacked up. God will always say to God, but I made crooked, you make it straight. I realize I messed up and I need your help. But even in the midst of that, what you have to remember, no matter how things may look, Your steps are ordered by the Lord, if you allow him to. 2 Peter 1 and 3. In case you're wondering, in the midst of you and your steps being ordered, do you actually think that God will have you lacking in the area that you need to fulfill the purpose and plan on this journey? 2 Peter 1 and 3 remind us, as his divine power has given us all things pertaining to life and godliness, pertaining to this life and godly living, through the knowledge of him who calls us by glory and virtue. In other words, what you're looking for, God already got it. Seriously, you already got it. We sang that song, I Made It Stuff, and part of the verse it says, Moses used a rod that was in his hand. That's how we need to be pertaining to what God has for us. Everything that we're looking for, God has already equipped us. He has given us the ability. He has now to him that is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that you can ask or think, according to the power that worketh in who? Us. 2 Timothy 1 and 7 from the Amplified Version. It says, for God did not give us a spirit of timidness or a spirit of fear, of cowardice, or of craving, or cringing, of taunting fear. But he has given us a spirit of power and of love and of calm and well-balanced what? Mind. And discipline and self-control.
Thank you, Lord.
In other words, God has you to be responsible for your mind, not allowing the devil to get into your mind. And last but not least, this little thing I want to share with y'all. I have to share this with y'all because this is something that I've never said publicly. This message was dealing with me because in 1992, God had a conversation with me and told me to do, he did not want me to do something that I love to do. He told me he did not want me to wrestle. That hurt my feelings. He said, I don't want you to wrestle. I want you to be known for this. Now, for those that know, I was not an A on the road student. I wasn't a C, I wasn't a B, I was maybe a C plus, C minus. But he told me he did not want me to wrestle. And I said, okay. And he told me the reason why he did not want me to wrestle. And so me and God was like at a table. You know how those who they play poker and they got the chips on the table? God said, I want you to trust me with your purpose, with your life. And so I got all my chips. And I said, okay, God, I'm going to trust you. What do you want me to do? And God gathered up all the chips and he said, I get back with you and walked off. He said nothing. And I already had planned out for me to wrestle, get my license from Waxahachie, and move to Atlanta, Georgia to be with Sting. Moved to Atlanta, Georgia. But God said he didn't want me to wrestle. So I didn't know what I was supposed to do. So in the meantime, I had already put in my application for TCI Cable Company. And I did that for 6 months. Every Wednesday, I would drive from Oak Cliff to my big town, Mesquite. I would drive every Wednesday for 6 months. Attention, David Snow. I was very consistent. I did that for 6 months, every Wednesday at 9:30. And then Sandra spoke to me about filling out the application for the Dallas County Sheriff Department. And the first application I didn't hear anything. So a year and a half later, Sandra gave me another application. Well, a year later, I kept the application in my car. I kept it in the trunk of the car. And I figured it wasn't going to hire me because I didn't hear anything. But I'm waiting to hear from TCI Cable Company because that's where I want to work at, so I can get free cable and have enough money to pay for my wrestling license. I had everything planned out. So I went on and Sandra told me to go ahead and fill out another application. So I filled out this second one. And then one Friday, I got 2 letters. It was actually from TCI Cable Company and the Sheriff's Department. So I filled out, I opened up the TCI Cable Company, because that's what I wanted to be at. And I opened up the letter and I read that they had declined my application because I was unfit. I did not qualify for what they wanted me to, what I applied for. That discouraged me so badly. I got that envelope, the letter that I opened up, and I also got the Sheriff's Department letter that I did not open up, and I balled up and threw it in the trash. I didn't open up the Sheriff's Department letter. I left it in the trash can, and they stayed in the trash can for about 45 minutes because I felt in my spirit. At the time I didn't know, but I need to go ahead and open up that letter. I need to go ahead and face my fears. And I felt like since TCI Cable Company wasn't going to answer, wasn't going to tell me why the Sheriff's Department want me, they ain't gonna hire me. So I went on and eventually go ahead and face my fears, face the rejection, possible rejection. I opened up that letter, and the Sheriff's Department said, we want you to come in for an interview. Lo and behold, some months later, I get hired on by Dallas County Sheriff's Department. And then a year later, after I got hired on for the Sheriff's Department, TCI Cable Company that I applied for, they went out of business.
Bankrupt. Yep.
That was in 95, 96. And then in 2001, the wrestling company I wanted to work at, wanted to wrestle at, WCW in Atlanta, Georgia, that I was going to move to,
Bankrupt.
they got bought out. In other words, they went out of business. So I was asking all along, God, what do you want me to do? You ain't telling me nothing. What do you want me to do? He didn't say nothing. But my options, he was showing me what he did not want me to do. So all that time I'm up here waiting, I'm trying to figure out, okay, God, now I see TCI Cable Company went out of business. Now the rest of them, okay, what do you want me to do? And then, lo and behold, that was 2001. Still didn't hear anything. Still didn't know what to do. But I had to start being obedient in what he needed me to do, which was start studying. Start coming to Sunday school. Start studying his word. Not just reading his word, studying his word.
Show yourself.
And along with that, make sure that when the time came, make sure I start trusting him, even in the smallest things. Having conversation with him, God, what do you want me to wear today? I'm gonna go to the mall. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to wear? Start looking at opportunities to put my trust in God, even in the smallest things. Asking him, even if I need to go to work, what route do I need to take? It may sound foolish to some people, but God wants you to trust him in every area. Because it's developing intimacy.
Right.
It's not only for us to trust God, but it's also showing us that God can trust, that we can trust God and also God can trust us. So along with that, all that happened then, so happened in February, this was 2 days ago, I actually celebrated my 10-year anniversary of accepting my calling to preach.
Amen.
Now, thank you. And ironic is today of me speaking, but it wasn't so much of me accepting my calling. Come to find out, it was me making my calling public. Because I accepted at the age, I mean, probably not told about it, but I accepted my calling to preach at the age of 6 years old. But what God told me to do, he told me to wait. God, I didn't know what to do. But what happened 10 years ago, I wrestled with God because I said I wasn't going to preach because I was in a situation that people would have been looking at me because, oh, he can't talk because he's divorced and all that stuff. I was listening to what people were saying in their mindset. Because let's be real, you know how some people in church are. But what I found out what God told me was, you can't let their disobedience be your disobedience. So I told God, God, I don't know what to do. I'm scared. I said, I'm scared. God, I don't want to disappoint you. I don't want nobody to be looking at me. I want to. And so what I did was everything hunky dory. Now, there was a weight that came off. There was a release. That was on that Saturday after the Black Shalom program 10 years ago. And then the following Saturday, the following Sunday, Pastor Logan allowed me to say it here. And immediately when I made it to the house, before I even made it to the house, when I made up into the driveway, I got a phone call. And it was from an anonymous caller. And they asked a question. It was a biblical question. And I said, what do you think? Well, you don't know nothing. You don't need to be preaching anyway. Hung up. Discouragement. And then somebody, it was an evangelist that told me, well, you're preaching now, but you're single, so you men got needs. So you're gonna have to take care of your needs. And, God understands. Nobody want me to have sex as a single person. And so I said, well, God, I'm not hanging around that person. So fast forward, 4 years later, 2014,
Amen.
I ended up seeing Kenneth Von Erich, my favorite wrestler. And I began to talk to him, meet him and everything, and then that night, I had a dream. And I don't really have dreams all the time, but whenever I have a dream, they mean something. And all of a sudden in that dream, just like how God came to me in 92, all of a sudden, God came back and he said, see, it wasn't that I didn't want you so much to wrestle. What I wanted you to do, I wanted you to be the chaplain to the wrestlers and the other people that people may be intimidated to talk to. He said, that's why I didn't choose you to work at TCI Cable Company. That's why I chose for you to work at jailhouse. That was kind of sheriff department. But see, that's boot camp. You're dealing with the outskirts or what's called the outcast. And there are many people that's coming to my house that are outcast. And so I said all that to say this. God said nothing for 23 years to this kid right here. 23 years of wondering what my purpose and plan was. And like I said, God did not look at where I was at the time he conversated with me, but he saw the best in me when no one else saw, everybody else saw the worst in me. Now I'm saying myself as an example, but I want you to put yourself in my shoes. There are people that you might be listening to. There have been people that you might have been going by their opinions because what they think about you, you listen to that, you're accepting that, but you're not accepting what God said about you. You're seeking other people's approval instead of God's approval. And so the situation that you may be waiting on God for, do you trust him even in the midst of his silence? Do you trust him enough to go ahead and do it in spite of the lack of help that you may not get? Or the lack of the non-support that you may not get? Are you willing to trust and praise God as if it's already done? Are you willing to answer the call, even if it means that everybody will be talking about you? Are you willing to accept God's plan for your life? Or are you willing to accept other people's plans for your life? Are you willing to accept the hand and move of God? Or are you willing to just stay where you're at and be miserable for the rest of your life? This may not be the message that most people might have been looking at the hopping and hooting, but this is something that we need to look at pertaining to our relationship with God. Because right now, let's be real, some of us, we're in a place where we hate it. There are some people sitting, even within this church or other churches, they are miserable in who they are. They don't like, look, they don't like who they are. based upon circumstances, based upon situations. Not because they feel like they a horrible person, but they look at their situation, they make their situation define who they are. But God said in the midst of, can you trust him right now? Can you trust God in the silence? Can you trust him? So look, let your praise, let your obedience be louder than God's silence.
Amen.
So right now, God knows everything from the very beginning. Everything pertaining to our life. Why are we going to give up right now? If we leave God, where will we go? If we leave God's plan for our life, who do we have to turn to?
I can see you, brother.
Nobody. So in other words, we need to stay right where we at and trust God. Trust God in the midst of the hell that you're dealing with right now. Look at God's word as a final authority and hold on to it. Allow what you're dealing with, make it have a firmer grip in God's word. Everything that you're dealing with, that's not just your problem, but that is your homework assignment. And you study it and you recite God's word back to him. Not so he can remember, but for you to remember what he promised. God has promises for each and every one of us. But a lot of times we're allowing the problems and situations of others to discourage us. I want each and every person right now to take a spiritual examination for themselves. I want each and every, this includes me too, each and every one of us to look at ourselves. There are some things that we're praying about. There are some things that we hold up to God. And God may not be moving as quickly for us as others. Or he may not be moving as quickly in certain areas. But he's moving in other areas. But don't you know, right now, God has not forgotten about you. He hasn't forgotten about you. You may have forgotten about him, but he has not forgotten about you. Listen, you're even on God's radar right now. But do you trust him to praise him even in the midst of the pain that you're dealing with? It might be emotional, might be physical, might be mental. But do you trust him enough right now in the area that you're in right now? Do you trust him enough? Do you trust him enough to praise him? And even if, like the Hebrew boys, even if God does not answer the prayer that you desire in a way that you desire, are you still willing to trust and praise him because he still can? Are you able to trust and praise him because of his ability? Will you do that? Amen. Just in case those who may want to touch and agree, you're welcome to come to the altar right now. Just in case you may be looking at, well, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do. I just, look, I found out last night they had a big boxing match. And in boxing, there was a win column, there was a lose column, and then there was a tie column in boxing. You can win, you can lose, or it might be a draw, it might be a tie. But when it comes down to life, there is no tie. There's either a win or a loss. Amen. If we don't show up, we automatically forfeit the battle. But if we show up, we already got the victory. Like I said, it's already scripted. But victory is only in and through Jesus Christ. If you don't have anything to pray for, what we're going to do, we're going to pray for those who may be watching. There may be people who may be coming in. I don't know about who's here, but I be thinking about the atmosphere of be conducive enough where somebody may be coming in the future. Where if we are doing what we're supposed to, and then when people may be coming in the future, the atmosphere is already set where yours will be destroyed, burdens be lifted. And just in case you may have some prayers up before God that you may see that it ain't moving yet, don't give up. And also, don't stop thinking about it. Don't stop anticipating. Don't give up your spiritual sight in what you asking God for. You wake up, like Brother Lander was saying, you wake up every morning looking at you one day closer.
That's right.
You wake up with the anticipation. You never see a mother carrying a baby and her not anticipating when the baby gonna be in her arms. So what you're praying about, God wants you to look at your due date. There is a due date, but the devil wants you to give up before the due date. The devil wants you to be buried with that seed. And don't you know, the more that we worry, the more that we stress, the more that we doubt, we push off that due date. We push off. Why? Don't push it off. You have to start to help you bring it forward. There are some things that we're praying about. There are some things that Pastor Logan mentioned today. What he's been praying about, he has it now.
Right.
He's been praying for support. Did he have to stop? Did he stop praying?
No.
If he had to stop praying, we probably wouldn't have this to happen.
That's right.
But perfect example in front of us. If he didn't stop praying and look at what he's doing, look who he is. The same word of God that brought fruition for him can happen for us.
Amen.
So don't give up regardless of what age or who you are. Just like Gabby. If God can bless Gabby to bless Pastor Logan, he can answer through anybody and for anybody.
Man.
So whoever has a prayer request, we're going to pray and give it to God. And for those who may be watching on video, whatever it is, we're going to give it to God and we're going to leave it there. We always hear the verses always say, cast all of our cares upon him. Why? Because he cares for us. So whatever it is, it's nothing too hard for God. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you right now. We thank you, Lord, for your awesomeness. We come to you right now, God. We acknowledge your presence on today. We come to you right now, God. We need your help right now, God, in every area of our lives, God. God, we speaking right now, God. There are those who may be listening, God, who may be watching, God. You may feel like giving up because things have not changed. They may feel that you have abandoned them, God. But God, we know, God, that you are true to your word, God. So God, we speak that you help us, God, with the strength, God, with the courage, with the patience to hold on and to trust you in the midst of whatever situation that we're waiting on right now. In the name of Jesus, God, we speak, God, that you help us with the endurance right now, God. God, we speak, God, that you help us, God, in every area of our life to surrender everything to you once and for all, God. God, we know if you did it in the Old Testament, you did it in the New Testament, you can do it today, right now, God. In the name of Jesus, God, we speak, God, that you help us to trust you, even if we can't trace you, God. Help us, God, to trust you in every area. And God, help us, God, to praise and obey you regardless of circumstances right now. In the name of Jesus, and say about everything you stand for, we bind every affliction, we bind every pain, we bind every discouraging word that the devil may try to send people to come to their ears or our ears right now. God, we speak, God, that you help your people, God, to be obedient to you in spite of whatever we may face, God. Help us, God, to not just put our trust in men, but more want to put our trust in you, God. Help us, God, not even rely upon our own abilities, God. But God, help us, God, to rely upon your ability, God. And God, we ask you to help us, God. Know that you still can move, God. It's not too late, God. And God, we thank you, God, for what you're doing, what you're going to do right now, God. We speaking for strength. We speaking for courage right now, God. In the name of Jesus. And we thank you, Lord, for what you're doing. We thank you for what you're going to do right now. In Jesus' name we pray. We say amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen.